Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 2022 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Aquarius be affected by the January 2022 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. 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 At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the world at our root, and we have the chariot, which is Cancer energy, which is really quite beautiful because this full moon is in Cancer, and we're going to find that it really opens up certain avenues for us that we hadn't anticipated, that we hadn't thought of before. It moves us to our inner self, Judgment, which is like the phoenix rising from the ashes, and the Seven of Cups, towards our dreams, towards what we deeply desire. It moves us to our emotional self, the Seven of Pentacles, Justice, which is Libra energy. So if we have Libra within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully at our heart, just as if we have Cancer within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully at our root. Then we have the Seven of Swords. We have the repeat of the number 7 twice. So there's a lot of knowledge that is coming our way. There's also going to be a need to keep things very honest during this time. When 7 shows up a lot, this number tends to get called out more, like, when we have this energy around us. So we have to be very honest with our hearts and what we desire. Because people will be like, well, that's not true. Or, oh, you didn't feel that way before. It brings us to the 10 of Pentacles, and it brings us to the King of Cups. So the King of Cups is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, very much amplifying the Cancer energy here at our root, the Cancer energy of this moon. The energy we need to be mindful of, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. This is the Queen of Pentacles. We're going to think that something has to move forward in a certain way, or we have to be a certain way in order for things to be successful. This is not going to mesh with our energy vibration, meaning it's going to feel wrong for us. We're going to know it feels wrong for us. We're going to think we're over-exaggerating, we're overreacting, something like that. We're going to stop listening to the voice inside ourselves, force it to try and work, and it just won't. So just be very aware of that. It can be a person, it could be a place, it could be a job, it could be a I don't know. It could be a situation. It can be be a myriad of things, but it's going to be, I'm going to force it to work. It's going to have to work. And yet it's not. It's just not going to move the way that we thought it would. It moves us to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. And this is clarity. Now, this resonates also with our singing bowl. Our singing bowl is for the third eye. And this is third eye energy coming forward. It brings us clarity. If we focus on our thoughts, if we focus on our breathing, if we focus on a sense of being very present in the now, that clarity is going to move us forward in a way that we didn't expect. We're going to start to see things more openly and more honestly as we embrace our emotions, yes, but as we embrace our mind and our emotions kind of coming together and seeing what can happen if our intentions are powerful and if our intentions are grounded. Now, let's look at this time astrologically speaking. We have the full moon in Cancer, and it says a personal issue reaches resolution. We're going to see something coming to a conclusion. We're going to see something within us becoming more understood. And this is around ourselves rising out of a dark pattern, rising out of expectations of others, learning how to understand the betrayal, never truly maybe being able to understand why we were betrayed, but it's like, okay, this happened, and now this door is opening. I am moving forward. The full moon is on the 17th of January. It is in Cancer, and it is the wolf moon. So it means that it's bringing out what we hunger for, what that part of us inside of us is howling for. As all stories of the full moon begin, the moon is opposite the sun, and the full moon has us focusing on family and home, relationships. These things start coming into focus, as does the opposite forces within our lives: work and home, wants and needs, self-love and expectations of everybody else. This is a time when we're seeking balance, especially emotionally. That is going to be so important to us. We have to listen to our inner voice. We're going to have a really big tendency during this time, not only on the 17th of January, but for the 2 weeks afterwards, to not listen to ourselves, to think that if I just push forward, if I just, keep heading in the direction that I believe success will be in, that will make me successful. So just be very mindful of this. The full moon is opposite Pluto. Now, this aspect will have our emotions really being intensified. We'll be feeling more vulnerable because of mood swings, because of feelings of fear or of jealousy, or simply because we're just more plugged in to the emotions of the world and the emotions of ourselves. Some of us will find this absolutely exhausting, will not like it at all. Be aware of that. We might rebel against it. Again, not just on the 17th, but for the 2 weeks afterward. This sense of, I don't want to be disconnected, can very much be a powerful feeling that is guiding our emotions. We're trying to separate ourselves from things at times if we're feeling overwhelmed with the emotions that we're getting. For others of us, if we're doing empathic work, if we're doing psychic work, if we're doing emotional work, this is going to be a brilliant time. But we have to make sure that we're grounding ourselves, that we're not getting carried off into other people's emotions, other people's desires, other people's stories, or going too deeply into our own without professional help, without guidance, without an understanding of our hearts, our souls, and ourselves. The moon is going to be conjunct the fixed star Pochirow. Pochirow is of the nature of Mars and of Mercury. Now, this makes us astoundingly stubborn, judgy, and hasty. It also means that we think we can solve our problems through force that can sometimes turn to violence. So we have to be very mindful of this. We don't want to head into the violent energy, whether it's physical violence or it's just emotional violence or spiritual violence. We don't want to go there. So we have to be very aware of this, just to be grounding, just to be powerful within ourselves. The world is opening. The world is opening in a very real way. What we have to see is, how are we connecting with the world? Because again, we can find the emotions of this world very overwhelming during this time. And especially since we have the Cancer energy right here, the emotions, the heart, the passion, the self really guides us in a way that we hadn't expected, in a way that we didn't anticipate. And we're going to find that this is a time when the door is open, when we see ourselves, when we start to understand ourselves, when we start to look at ourselves in a different way. And we're going to say, where do I need to be? What is it that I desire? What is it that I want from me, my world, and this time? Judgment is coming in also. In our inner selves, we're feeling ourselves rise from the box that we had put ourselves in, rise from the box society had put ourselves in, or the way that we thought we had to be, in the way that we thought we should be. And we're going to see that we're moving towards our dreams and what we deeply desire. And as we're doing this, we're seeing ourselves more and more. We're embracing ourselves more and more. We're looking at where it is that we need to be, what it is that we want, who it is that we are, as we start connecting not only with our dreams, but also with the past, with the understandings of ourselves. The Six of Cups is the sense of the past coming in. And the past is looking at the dreams that we want, at the hopes that we have. And there's going to be the sense of, can I do this? Do I know this? Do I understand this? Can I embrace what I deeply want? Because there's going to be something from the past that's making us think, no, you can't. And yet that is a bold-faced lie. We have to be patient. Even though we might have had this time frame set up in our mind, this is when I'll do this is when I do that. Spirit is saying here, be patient, because the way it unfolds, if we are patient, if we are present, if we are connecting, is going to be something that's more beautiful than we ever thought of ourselves. And that's going to be a very powerful thing. So have patience, even though the fruit isn't ripening in our time. It is ripening in divine time. And when we eat that fruit, it's going to taste so delicious. It's kind of like having a big bowl of strawberries or having a big bowl of any type of fruit. And if the strawberries aren't ripe and you sprinkle sugar on them, sure. Okay, now they're sweet. Yes, but they're still crunchy. They're still hard. They're not delicious. The same way as if you let those strawberries ripen, or if you put them in a paper bag and had them ripen kind of on their own just through that. So there's going to be the sense of letting things ripen in their time. Yes, we can do things to help it along, most definitely, like putting the strawberries in a paper bag can definitely help the fruit ripen, or any fruit, can help it ripen. We just have to be mindful of our intentions and let things kind of take on their natural kind of cadence, their natural rhythm. It brings us to justice. It brings us to a place where we're finding justice within ourselves. We're cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. We're finding a balance for what we want and what we desire and what we need within our lives. This is a sense of our heart saying, am I being just? Not only to everybody else, but also, am I being just to myself? Am I embracing my emotions? Am I understanding what I desire? And it brings us to betrayals. A lot of betrayals, a lot of hurts are coming forward. And what we're going to see here is this sense of, how am I being just to myself, even though certain things have fallen apart? How am I being just to myself, even though I feel overwhelmed, even though I don't feel like I can trust myself, even though I'm questioning a lot of things, and people have made me question decisions that I've made, or the power of my own judgment. And what we're going to see is that our betrayals, or the betrayals that happen in our lives, yes, it takes two to tango, but sometimes those betrayals are completely out of our control. And a lot of times they are out of our control. What we have to look at here is the emotional language that's being spoken to us. Instead of doing that thing like we do when we're younger, it's kind of like, I want this person to like me. They don't like me. And even if we don't really like them, now it becomes our mission to say, oh, you're supposed to like me, kind of thing. And I can reject you, but I do not want to be rejected. Betrayals are like that. It is that sense of rejection. It is that sense of hurt. It is that sense of misguided trust type of thing coming in. And now we're starting to see, how do I be just to myself, even though I have been hurt, even though I am overwhelmed, even though I doubt that I will be sent what it is that I absolutely need. And this is a time to be just with our heart, just with our emotions, not put things in the terms of absolution, because that makes it hard. Like, if you're not doing this by this time, if you don't have this by this time, then obviously that person was right, and I will never have the happiness that I deeply want, that I deeply need. And what Spirit is saying is that is not true. Being present is going to be very true. Connecting is going to be very true. And looking at people and saying, I'm glad you showed me who you truly are. It's kind of like what Maya Angelou said. When a person shows you who they truly are, believe them. And that's going to be very important. Believe what you are seeing. Believe what they are showing you. Believe that, yes, they can betray. Because now I have to move on. And I have to be just to me, not just to you. And it moves us to the Ten of Pentacles. It moves us in the public arena to inheritance and family and prosperity and richness and abundance, and the sense of, I've completed a cycle when it comes to finances, when it comes to money, when it comes to what I desire within my life, what makes me rich. This could be money, or what we desire as much as money. This is also, generational blessings. This might be the one little blessing within your family line, within the line of the people who raised you. This is a sense of I am embracing prosperity, success, bounty, abundance. I am moving forward in this energy. Nothing and no one will stop me. And it brings us to the King of Pentacles. And this is charismatic, it's warm-hearted, it's intuitive, and it is empathetic. So our emotions are going to be tuned in, again, not only on the 17th of January, but for the whole entire 2 weeks to come. We are tuned in, we are showing up. And what we have to do is be tuned in and show up for ourselves. To say, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is who I am, this is what I desire within my life. Nothing is going to hold me back. No one is going to stop me. There is a sense of, I will lead, but by example of the heart, by the passion of the soul, by the instincts of myself. And it doesn't mean that I'm in this sojourn all by myself. It means that I'm embracing this journey, but I'm embracing it as the leader who walks forward. This is the most feminine of all the kings. So we have the beautiful masculine energy, but we also have the beautiful feminine energy coming together. And that sense of I lead by example. I lead by keeping my calm, by keeping myself present, by looking at it, what it is that I desire, and I open that door. It brings us to our Lunar message. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Oh, goodness. All right, so at our root, we have don't let pride get in your way. Release. Release the pride and stand in the now, which is very easy to say, sounds very much like a quote to, put on a poster or something like that. And it's very hard to do because our egos come in, our pride comes in, our pride gets hurt, it gets wounded, it makes us, react in certain ways as we release how we think other people are perceiving us, as we release how we think we are perceiving ourselves. If we stand in the present and say, am I connecting with the here and with the now? Am I connecting with a greater energy of what I want, what I desire, and what I need? That starts to become a huge thing. And if we only do this for like a second every single day, that's a second more than most people ever do it in their lives. It's time to connect. It's time to start to see. It's time to start to understand who we are, what we want, and what we desire from our lives. It moves us to our lunar inner selves, and it says it's time to release negativity. This is the full moon in Leo at our root, right? Where it says don't let pride get in the way. Now we have the full moon in Scorpio that says it's time to release the negativity, sovereignty. Then we will have sovereignty over ourselves, over as we rise like a phoenix from the ashes. It's going to be so important. This full moon energy, this what we are embracing as this spotlight comes forward, is so intrinsic to us during this time. It moves us to our lunar inner self, and it says a fiery climax is approaching. Trust. And this is the full moon in Aries energy. A fiery climax is approaching. Trust who we are, trust what we want, trust what we are desiring from our lives, trust the messages from people who love us, who are connecting with us, who care for us. Trust in the patience, trust in the fact that divinity doesn't mean that we are inactive in going after what we want, but it does mean that we don't try to force it, that we add to it, that we, again, we put the strawberries in a paper bag to be able to ripen, but it will still take time. It will happen faster, but it will still take time. We don't just cut them up and pretend, put sugar all over them and say, look, now they're ripe, because they're not. And that's going to be important. And I know I don't know how to make this more clear during this time, but there's just a sense of do not masquerade it. Do not lie about it. Do not, take it and kind of put lipstick on a pig. It's still going to be a pig. We have to accept it. We have to see what blessings are coming our way, see how we can better things, but we can't change it completely. It moves us to our lunar public arena self. And it says communication is key. And we have now a new moon, which is be quiet, go inward, look at what's starting a new cycle, because communication is key. It brings us greater balance. It brings us greater insight. It helps to open up the doors. Our subconscious lunar message is show the world the real you. And that's hard to do. It's the full moon in Aquarius. And it says resistance. We've been resisting and we've tried to be crushed. And it's been hard to show the world who we truly are. But now it's time. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Princess of Cups. The Princess of Cups is letting the immaturity of the heart take over, letting ourselves be guided by other people's opinions, other people's desires, by letting the emotions of this time, which are so intense, become immature, become childish, and losing sight of what it is that we truly want. It brings us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that is flexibility. The flexibility here, the sacral chakra, is saying, do not let the pains and the hurts of the past, which are held in the sacral chakra, dictate and define your future. Let yourself be flexible with your ideas, with your desires, with what it is that you truly want, and let that door open. It moves us to our subconscious rooted self, and that's strength. Leo energy coming through very strongly at our root. Again, don't let pride get in the way, but move forward in strength, move forward in harmony, move forward in insight, move forward in idea. Connect with love, with kindness, and with respect, and we will be surprised at the strength, at the purpose of the tenacity of us. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, and that is the Queen of Cups. We are embracing our emotions in a way that is astounding. It connects us with the King of Cups in our public arena. That's a soulmate connection, a true love connection. Those are the doors opening. We're not going to feel it quite as strongly because they're from different decks, and one's subconscious and one's conscious. But what we are going to feel is that the heart is playing a powerful role in our lives, not only during this time, but for a while as we're moving forward in 2022. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self, and this is the Knight of Swords. This is us. We're represented by the swords in the minor arcana. We're represented by the star in the major arcana. This is us going after our dreams. It's saying here, don't be, hasty. Don't be, kind of show-offy. Don't be rash and brash. But step back, see what it is that you want, and then go after it with vengeance, with determination, with focus. Because we can become, and we are becoming, the hero of our story. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self, and that's the Three of Pentacles. It's enterprise and success, it's talent and it's teaching. It's opening up the doors and connecting in a way that we hadn't thought we would connect. It's also connecting with the energy of the maiden mother crone, put in modern terms of all-encompassing the child, the adult, and the wisdom that we become. The sense of I am learning, I am developing, and I am seeing my blessings, my desires, my prosperity in this life in a very different way, but in a very powerful way. And as I connect to this, I connect to who it is I need to be, who it is I want to be, and what it is I desire for my life. All right. Oh, goodness. All right, Aquarius. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this time. So let's take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aquarius, and may you have a blessed moon.